Coffee and Beats album review. Aja Monet, The Color of Rain. Welcome to another edition of Coffee and Beats. I am your musical barista, Rod the Magnificent. Hit all those reminders on the side of me so you get notified every time I drop a new video. Enough of me rambling, let's get right into the intro. Welcome back to another edition of Coffee and Beats. I am your musical barista, Rod the Magnificent, back with another episode, back with another album, and we are going to be talking about none other than Aja Monet. Let's get right into this album review, and I could not wait to talk about this one right here. We have Aja Monet with The Color of Rain, and this is her second studio album. Aja Monet placed pretty high on one of my top 25 end of the year lists. I think it was back in 2024, if I'm not mistaken, or 2023, one of those years. Go back and backtrack. I'll have that link down below. But she just missed, her debut album just missed my number one spot. And this year, she might just be a threat for that top spot. And sometimes an album comes along that doesn't just ask you to listen, it asks you to feel, it asks you to reflect and sit with it. And that's exactly what happened when I pressed play on Aja Monet's Color of Rain. And my first reaction of this project, I was just blown away. I was simply blown away by the wordplay. This isn't just a poetry album. This isn't just a jazz record. This isn't just spoken word over music. The Color of Rain exists in its own lane. Aja describes the album as the space between the raindrops, and honestly, that's the perfect way to describe it. Rain nourishes, renews, and touches everything it falls on. Throughout this project, Aja uses poetry, music, and emotion to challenge us to look inward while also confronting the realities of the world around us. Where her Grammy-nominated album kind of left off at, when the poems do what it do, it felt like an intimate performance at a late-night cafe. The Color of Rain feels much bigger. It's more adventurous, it's more experimental, and more urgent. If the first album invited you to the conversation, this one challenges you to participate. The production deserves a lot of praise. Most notably produced by Meshell and Ndegeocello, a legend in herself, Aja Monet and Justin Brown. The album trades some of the live band feel that anchored her debut album for a more analog, ambient, and immersive sound. There are moments of jazz, soul, hip-hop, R&B, and even some boom bap scattered throughout the project. Also some ambient feel, while she really echoes, where you hear those poems really echo out of her very soft voice. Every sonic choice serves the poetry. Meshell does an excellent job with her presence being felt throughout this entire record. And I would be remiss if I let you know who is the features on this project. First of all, you got Georgia and Modro, who provides some dope harmonies. And then you got Ganavia, who is somebody I never heard of, actually. And as of this recording, I'm backtracking and listening to some of her music. You'll probably get my opinion on some of her music once I'm done. But I was really intrigued by her feature on this album. And then you have Brandy Younger, who has been doing it for a long time. She's got a great discography. If you're not up on her, check her out. You got also Miraba, who's also an awesome artist. that you also need to check out some of her solo projects, but she contributes an excellent vocal performance, which I'm going to get into later. And then you have Mick Jenkins, Chicago's very own hip hop artist, and another Chicago native by the name of Vic Mensa, who's also a hip hop artist. What continues to separate Aja from many spoken word artists is her delivery. She doesn't simply recite poems over music. Her cadence, her tone, rhythm, and emotion become instruments themselves. The poetry breathes with the music, and the music breathes with the poetry. And some of the standout tracks on this album, starting off with one of my favorite tracks on here, Say It With Your Chest, is a powerful opening statement to the album. The drumming immediately commands attention, and it sets the tone for the entire album. It's courageous, it's direct, and it's impossible to ignore. Also, you have Elsewhere, which is absolutely beautiful, dedicated to the memory of Sly Stone. The track glides effortlessly with stunning contributions from Georgia Ann Muldrow, Navena Carmel, and also Meshell Ndegeocello herself. Can never say her last name for as long as she's been out. I can never say her last name correctly. Holly Weird is also a very intriguing song. Might be one of the most vivid songs on the album. The Afro-punk energy, the horns, the haunting atmosphere paint powerful pictures of Los Angeles and all of the chaos that was going on during the LA fires. Also, you have For the Congo, which is one of the most interesting and urgent moments of the album. The repeated phrase, talk about the blood, becomes impossible to shake. Polyrhythms create a sense of tension that perfectly matches the subject matter. And then you got Sisters, one of the album's most heartfelt moments. Aja reflects on dignity, womanhood, care, and equality, which hits hard without really feeling preachy. The addition of Ganavia and also Brandy Younger's contributions elevates this entire experience to the T. Then you also have one of my personal favorites, Working Class Musician, which is absolutely incredible. The jazz arrangements are relentless. They're passionate and full of life. It's a reminder that art itself is a labor. This track also features some of the most funniest moments of the album, with chants of groceries and rent and just the economy, things in the economy, the prices being too high. It got a little chuckle out of me. And then you got Love Is a Choosing, which is hands down one of the best songs I've heard all year. Maraba's voice feels like a warm breeze floating through the record. The song is tender, it's thoughtful, and deeply human, and easily one of my favorite tracks of 2026. And here's the thing, poems are written about love. It's easily to go on a love is this, love is that, love is that. But no, she really goes deep into the definition of love here and what it really means. And it's just so angelic to listen to, her voice echoing in some moments in the song. It just chef's kiss. The next track we got, Song of Myself, finds Aja wrestling with identity, contradiction, and self-discovery. The vocal treatments create a dreamlike atmosphere that keeps pulling you deeper. Then you got Melting Clocks, which is one of the album's most fascinating listens. It constantly shifts rhythms and tempos, and then Mick Jenkins and Vic Mensa's contributions, pretty impressive. They stay in that poetic lane that Aja Monet stays in, that poetic pocket. I thought they did a very good job of that. Both of these artists, even though they are rappers, they do have a poetic presence to this project, keeping the theme going here. With this particular track, we didn't try to force, the typical R&B rap verse type of track. This is, everybody stays in motion. Almost reminds me of Jill Scott album that came out earlier this year with contributions from Absol. I thought Absol did a good job of keeping that poetry theme that Jill Scott was known for. Well, you see that here, Melting Clocks. And then you got Every Media Minute. Captures the anxiety and overload of modern life perfectly. The bass bass line carries, while Aja's wordplay forces us to confront the non-stop flood of information surrounding us. My only critiques on this album might be Skinfolk, even though it's not a bad song by any means. Compared to some of the other emotional highs and lyrical brilliance found elsewhere on the album, it didn't leave the same lasting impact. My final thoughts on this album: I absolutely love it. What Aja Monet has created here is fearless poetry that refuses to be put in a box. It's music that values feeling over formulas. It's political, it's spiritual, it's introspective, it's challenging and beautiful all at once. So much music feels designed for just quick download streams and just throwing tracks on playlists and things of that nature. The Color of Rain demands your full attention. The more time you spend with it, the more it reveals itself. At the end of the day, I give Color of Rain 4.8 coffee cups out of 5. Again, 4.8 coffee cups out of 5. I really enjoyed this project. This is one of those rare projects that reminds you why art, why poetry, why it all still matters. I love this album. I hope you guys get a chance to check it out. And Aja Monet, if you're listening to this review, can't wait to hear more from you. Hope you come to Chicago. But other than that, keep up the fine work. This was an excellent project. And that will do it for this edition of Coffee and Beats. I am your musical barista, Rod the Magnificent. When it comes to coffee, when it comes to music, stay grounded for life. Again, hit all those reminders on the side of me so that you get notified every time I post a new video. And pretty soon, just want to let you guys know, I did not forget. I mentioned this earlier in season 9 that I will be posting a 5-year anniversary episode of Coffee and Beats. That will be coming up later on this year, probably around the time when the new Jungle comes out, and I probably might have some special guests for that episode, so stay tuned for that. But other than that, please, thank you for tuning in to Coffee and Beats, and I will see you guys on the next episode. Peace.